Hey y'all, I'm going to talk about chickens going through molt. So when your chicken goes through molt, it's really a normal thing. Molting means that they're losing their current feathers and they're going to regrow feathers, typically for the winter. So chickens typically start molting when they're over the age of 1. So in between 1 years old to 18 months, they'll start to go through molt. And they will do this typically at the beginning of winter. So when the days start to get shorter or it starts to get a little cooler, chickens might start to go through molt. And what that looks like is they start to lose their feathers at their head, and then it might go to their neck, their body, and then ultimately they will lose their tail feathers as well. So your chicken will look, quite frankly, awful when it goes through molt, as it loses all of its feathers from head to toe. But it's okay. It's normal, and they will regrow feathers. It just helps them regrow feathers, and it's completely normal. I have 2 chickens currently going through molt, and here's what those look like. And you can see that they've lost their feathers. They look pretty mangy. They look pretty ugly, and there's feathers everywhere. There's feathers all through my coop. There are feathers all over the yard when they've been out, but they lose feathers. And that is one way that you can tell that they're going through molt versus another issue where they might lose feathers, like lice, mites, worms, that kind of thing. So that's one way that you can tell is there's going to be feathers everywhere. They're not plucking them. They're not eating them. Someone's not plucking it out of the other chicken. They're losing it. And they're also losing feathers in that particular order, starting from their head and then going down to the rest of their body. Another reason that you can tell if your chicken's in molt is they might have a pale comb, or their comb might be down, and you can see that in my chickens here as well. So that's another reason you can tell if they're going through molt. When they go through molt, you're going to notice a few things. You're going to notice increased appetite. So feathers are a huge majority protein. And so you're going to notice that your chickens are eating much more and they want more protein. So I typically help my chickens go through molt by supplementing them with some grubs. And I'll leave the link of my favorite grubs that I give them, making sure that their food has plenty of protein and that they have plenty to eat, especially because at the start of winter, a lot of the insects aren't as prevalent outside, and that's when they go through molt. And so you really want to supplement with protein if you can. That also helps them grow back their new feathers quickly. Along with that, you're probably going to notice an decrease in egg production. So I have 2 chickens currently going through molt, and both are not currently laying. They're a few weeks into their molt and they're already regrowing new feathers, so hopefully it won't last too long and they will start to lay eggs again. But egg production also will decrease in the winter in general, but it's helpful if you increase protein in general for that reason, to kind of help your egg layers keep laying frequently or as much. The other things that you can do to help your chicken feel comfortable when they're in molt is make sure that there's plenty of clean and fresh bedding for them. And then lastly, try not to handle them a ton. It's uncomfortable. They're not used to that. And so I typically will let my chickens be when they're in molt, and that's it. One last thing is, if you want to make sure your chicken's in molt, pretty frequently or pretty soon, you should start to see new feather growth. If you're not seeing that new feather growth, you may have another issue, not the molt. So I can already see new feather growth. I don't know how long it'll take. Molting typically takes about a month all the way up until 6 months. Hopefully mine will not take that long, since I already see that new growth and I'm supplementing with the protein. But that's a little bit about chickens in molt. I hope you guys enjoy.